Hey everyone, welcome back to RetroBreak and welcome to my pickups from the London gaming market. And while I was there, I also picked up a cold, so excuse me if I'm not quite as enthusiastic as usual while I'm going through this video, but I didn't want to miss a week and I picked up some really cool stuff, so bear with me while we go through these. Let's start off with two games for the Game Boy Advance that I never thought I would be able to own in such good condition. They are the two Summon Night games, and I got these from a friend who is also part of my Discord server, and he's got an amazing stall at the market and he goes there to every single one, so definitely check his stall out if you go there in the future. And if we move over to the overhead camera, you can see just how nice condition these boxes are in as well. And the two Summon Night games are games that I've been interested in playing for a long time, so there's the first one. Here's the second one here. They weren't cheap, but I'm really happy to have them as part of the collection. And if we open them up as well, you can see that they were complete inside and they are in incredible condition. Look at that. So let's have a look at what we've got in here. It also came with all of the warranty cards and the Nintendo Power leaflet and everything. So there's the cart for the first game. And we also have the instructions here as well. Immaculate condition. And of course, because it's a Game Boy Advance game, we also have a lovely full colour instruction manual too. And I'm so excited to check both of these games out as well, and I'll play them on stream at some point in the future too. So if you're curious to see my thoughts on the Summon Night games, then follow me on Twitch or on YouTube at RetroBreak_live, and I will definitely be checking them out in the near future. And here's the second one, so let's have a look at what came in this one. And again, these are basically brand new as far as the condition is concerned. There's not a scratch on anything here, and the cartridges even have the little plastic wrapping still around them too. I wonder whether there's any save files on them or not. And it also came with these Atlas stamp cards with little surveys to fill out, and the Summon Night logo on the other side. So this one is Summon Night 2. Apparently not quite as good as the first game, but still very interested to check it out, and I love what I've seen of the gameplay from these games so far as well, so I think I'm really going to enjoy them. Next up, two games that I picked up from a stall that I follow on Instagram called LGGS Retro Finds, I believe. I'll put a link in the description to his account. I picked up a game for the WonderSwan, and I also picked up a game for the Game Boy Color. So the Game Boy Color one is Dragon Warrior Monsters, or Dragon Quest Monsters, one of my favourite games for the Game Boy Color, and I always wanted to have the Japanese box as well, so really happy to have that. I love all of the artwork on there as well, the little slimes, the King Slime, the Draco, everything else on the front. It's really nice. And let's take a look inside here. I haven't actually opened this one up just yet, so let's see if it's complete. Okay, first off, very curious to see this, and I assume this is something related to how they came in Japan, but this is a Game Boy Color game on a grey cartridge. I've never seen that before. Very interesting. I'm going to put it in a Game Boy and see whether it actually comes up in colour or not. Let's put it in here and see whether it actually shows up in colour or in black and white. Okay, interesting. So it is in colour. That's really weird. I don't know whether that's a Japan-specific thing, but I've never seen that before. Let me know down in the comments below if you've ever seen a Game Boy Color cart on a grey cartridge. And it looks like whoever played that last played a lot of it as well. There was like 60 hours on that save file. And again, a really nice full colour instruction manual. And I wanted this for the artwork inside the manual as well. Look how cool that is. The tree there. I have great memories of going around that tree and discovering all the things with the different areas and the tournaments and stuff as a kid. Absolutely loved this game, so really happy to have the Japanese version. And next up is this one here. This is called Taro Panda no Gunpei, or Panda Gunpei, as I like to call it. So I'm sure a lot of you know the game Gunpei. It's a puzzle game that was originally made by Gunpei Yokoi, the creator of the Game Boy. He died, and then Bandai decided to release a range of games in his honour, based on one of his previous games that he'd made called Professor Heno Heno. And let's see what's inside here. This is one that I always wanted for my WonderSwan collection, because I did a video about the WonderSwan a few years back, but I didn't actually have this game, so really happy to officially own this now. So that's really nice. It's even got the little protector for the cartridge there. Here's a look in the instructions. I assume they'll just be in black and white because this game doesn't run in colour. Oh, they even went through the effort of making the instructions in colour despite the fact that the game is only black and white. That's really cool. So, not too much. Oh, there are some nice images in there as well, the cute little pandas. And we also have one of those cards to fill out the surveys of, which is always fun to see. So, really happy to have this one. Next up, I don't know which stall I got this from, but I actually got a few different Japanese games from them. They had a bunch of really cool Japanese games there. So there's 2 DS games and there's a game for the PlayStation 2. Let's start with the DS games. First of all, we have Soma Bringer, and this is an interesting game for a few reasons. So it was made by Monolith Soft, the same people that make Xenoblade, which is really cool in its own right. But the other really cool thing about this is the fact that the composer for the game was actually Motoi Sakuraba, who does some incredible RPG, JRPG soundtracks like Star Ocean and the Tales of series. So really excited to hear what this game's like as well. And although obviously it's an RPG that's completely in Japanese, there is also a English fan translation out there online as well, which I do have downloaded onto my DSi, so I can actually play this in English, but I just really wanted to get it in the box because this is a game that I've wanted for a long time, and I always hear people saying how great the game is as well, so really happy to have that. Definitely going to play it in English at some point. My 3DS with the capture card has unfortunately stopped working, so I can't stream from the DS anytime soon, so I've been thinking of either trying to fix that or getting a new one, because there is a site now that lets you buy DS games with capture cards. But there's a look at the cart. So really happy to have this one. I'll definitely check it out properly at some point in the future. And the other one, I don't really know much about this one. This one is called Shining Force Feather, and I picked this one up solely because it's part of the Shining Force series, and I've been thinking at some point in the future I might want to make a retrospective about the series, so I will need to try and track down all the games. And I hadn't actually heard of this one before, so let me know in the comments what you think about Shining Force Feather for the Nintendo DS. I've heard mixed opinions about it online from what I did a little bit of research before this video, but that's really interesting. It looks like some sort of DLC costumes or some sort of merch that you can get for the game. And here's a look at the instructions, again in full colour as well, which is really nice, and some interesting character designs there too by the looks of it. So yeah, let me know if anyone's ever played this one. I really don't know anything about it at all. I assume it's an action RPG from what I can see from the screenshots. The Shining Force series is pretty interesting because it spans like a multitude of different genres depending on what game you're playing. There's dungeon crawlers, there's pure JRPGs, there's action RPGs, there's strategy games. So I don't really know where this one fits in the series, so let me know what kind of genre it is. And the final one, because I wanted to get another Summon Night game, this is the first Summon Night, I assume, for the PlayStation 2. Looks like a strategy RPG in the Disgaea mold, so there was a bunch of them on the PlayStation 2 back in the day. And I probably won't be able to really play much of this one, considering it's all in Japanese, but I do know a little bit of Japanese, enough to get through menus and things, but not enough to enjoy the story, really. But yeah, let me know more about the Summon Night series in general, because I really don't know much about it at all, to be honest. All I know is the console ones are strategy RPGs, and the handheld ones, at least the ones on the Game Boy Advance, are actually action games. So, with crafting mechanics as well, as like crafting different weapons and items as you're going through. So, yeah, really cool to have that. Another game for my Japanese PlayStation 2 collection, and one that I think is fairly interesting too. Another game I picked up was Atelier Sophie 2 for the Switch, and I have actually played a little bit of this one while I was ill in bed when I came back from the show, and I have to say it's already fast becoming one of my favourite games in the entire series. I was playing it earlier as well. Here's how it looks on the Switch. The graphics are so nice and it's so bright and colourful, and the story's amazing. I actually really enjoyed the previous Atelier Sophie game. I played through that one on the PlayStation Vita and loved it there too, so really happy to finally have the sequel to that one. And inside, I was also surprised to see that it came with a little fold-out poster as well, so let me show you what that looks like. It's not very often you get posters inside Switch cases because of how small the case is, but yeah, it came with this really nice poster here of Sophie in the atelier making a potion, which is really cool. And I love the artwork for all of the atelier games. I've got all the art books down there on the shelf behind me, and in fact I was really happy to see that I did actually already own the Atelier Sophie 2 art book. I've actually got it right here, which I picked up from one of the conventions maybe last year or the year before, so it was really fun to play the game and then come and look through this book again to see the amazing art for the Atelier game. And I have more art books for Atelier than I do of the actual games themselves, but I just love the character designs and the world of the Atelier series as well. And I know Yumiya's coming out very soon. In fact, it's coming out in a day's time, I think, by the time this video is released. And I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to get it yet, because Xenoblade X is also coming out at the same time. But I definitely hope to play it soon, because I really do love these games. Let me know if you're a fan of the Atelier series down below as well. And next up we have a few Game Boy Color games, and I picked this one up because I featured the sequel in last week's video. This is Rumble Race Top Gear Rally, and this one's interesting because it actually has a rumble pack where you can put a AAA battery in the top to actually feel rumble as you're playing the game. And someone pointed out in the comments on my last video that the sequel in Japan also had the rumble pack functionality, but for some reason here in the UK and over in America they took that out and released it as a standard cartridge, which is kind of sad because I always like it when cartridges have interesting things like that. So let's take a look in here, and I was quite surprised and also quite concerned to see that in here, this is also brand new, but it also has the original AAA battery in the top there, which, as you can see, has corroded quite heavily, so I should probably dispose of that as soon as possible. And here's the cartridge itself, and like I was saying, it comes with a rumble pack inside the cartridge, so you can actually open that there, put a battery in there, and the cartridge will actually rumble as you're playing through the game, which is really cool. And I'm sure a lot of people know this feature from Pokemon Pinball, which was the main game that supported it, that a lot of people would know. So that's how the cartridge looks, and of course it also came with the warranty card and instructions as well, and I assume these are also in colour. Yes, we're getting very good luck with all these different instruction manuals. I did notice in this one though that the screenshots are very low quality, like they've been taken from a camera on a computer monitor using an emulator, which is really weird to see. Like, I don't know if the camera can pick it up that well, but look how blurry that is. That is not coming from the program, which I don't know why they would do that. Very strange. Most Game Boy Color games, I think, by that point actually used screenshots from the game rather than photos of the screen. So, really strange decision there, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. You can still make it out. But yeah, there we go. That is Top Gear Rally with a very dangerous battery, which I'm going to go and throw in the bin right now, actually. I know I like keeping everything historically accurate, but I don't think it's good to keep that in there, really. And the last game here is another one that I picked up because of the video that I did last week as well. This is Rayman 2 Forever, and I included the first Rayman game in my list of affordable Game Boy Color games which are worth playing. And now I also have the sequel, which is really good. And here's a look at the box. Not as good condition as some of the other ones that I picked up at the show, but still not bad. And it's kind of interesting that this must have been one of the later Game Boy Color releases, because it has that like plastic feeling box rather than the cardboard ones. And let's have a look inside here. So no plastic or cart protector this time, but here's a look at the cartridge. Looks like a nice cartridge. I like the colour of the label on there. And it did come with the instructions. I'm really only trying to buy games that come complete these days, just because I like having it as part of the collection. And this is the first one that doesn't have colour inside the instruction manual. That's a bit sad, considering it's a Game Boy Color game as well and they have to show it off in black and white, even though it's not even a black and white compatible game. That's kind of a letdown. Shame on you, Ubisoft. And I'm actually going to show you the title screen for this game because I was very confused. So as you can see, the game is called Rayman Forever, or Rayman 2 Forever, but when you put the game on, it's called Rayman 2 The Great Escape. So I don't understand what happened there. Why does it have two different titles for the same game? Is The Great Escape the UK name for the game, but they didn't change the box art to match? Let me know down in the comments. I honestly have no idea. And that will do it for this pickups episode. I think I'm going to go and take a lie down now, have some more throat sweets, have some more Lemsip, and try and get over this cold, which has just knocked me out all week. I've really been struggling at work throughout this week, so I really hope it's over soon. And hopefully next week's video can be a little bit more upbeat. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed watching regardless. I still enjoyed making it, and I'm really glad I could still get it out there. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more pickups videos, then click up here. I've got a whole playlist full of pickups videos to keep you guys entertained until next time. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye.